Nnamdi Kanu issues 7 directives to Ipob and the supporters. The leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, Nnamdi Kanu, is not ready to let down the battle towards regaining freedom from the detention of the Department of State Services, DSS. So because the government amended the 7-count charges against him, all right, so as to continue to detain him, Nnamdi Kanu is also not relenting. He's courageous, and he's also hoping that one day he will get out of their net as well. And so in line with that, he has also issued 7 new directives to his supporters. So let's see what those directives are. Kanu, in an effort to regain freedom, had approached the Supreme Court after the federal government failed to obey the court ruling ordering his release and compensation. The Ipob leader, ahead of the Supreme Court ruling, has issued 7-point directives to Ipob and its supporters. The counsel to Kanu, Ifeanyi Ejiofor, revealed these in a statement released after the routine visit to the Ipob leader at the headquarters of DSS in Abuja. Kanu, in the directives, called on his supporters ahead of the court ruling to be cautious of their enemies and maintain peace in all quarters. The Ipob leader further stated that Ipob is a peaceful self-determination movement. The separatist leader, in the second point, condemned all forms of criminalities and those behind them, adding that he was not giving any order to any group to engage in any form of criminality. The statement said, furthermore, Onyendo directed me to issue the foregoing statements. Number 1, that this critical time calls for the greatest circumspect among his followers because the enemies are relentlessly exploiting the vulnerable to obtain their status quo and further blackmail the Ipob, ably led by Nnamdi Kanu, which is a peaceful self-determination movement. Number 2, he has a hard stance in the condemnation of crimes and dissidents and reiterated that he has never condoned nor supported criminality of any form. Hence, the criminal elements who are involved in making lives unbearable to our people should be immediately fished out and dealt with as such. They have no place in Ipob's peaceful self-determination movement. Number 3, that the general public and indeed his people should be notified in unmistaken terms that nobody is receiving any instruction from him for the purpose of encouraging dissident behaviors and accordingly dissociates himself from any persons who is mischievously feeding the public with such blatant falsehood. Kanu stressed that he has since made his stance public, which position is clearly contained in a viral short clip recorded during one of his appearances in court. Number 4, Kanu reiterated his call for total calmness in the entire Southeast region and particularly queried the mental state of those who are relentlessly waging war against his people, the very people he had sworn to protect and make life better for. Number 5, Kanu's movement was founded on a peaceful bedrock in consonance with the universally recognized rights of indigenous people to self-determination as clearly encapsulated under the extant laws. Number 6, that the activities of the dissident marauders who engage in criminal activities have further emboldened the Nigerian security agents to unleash terror on innocent people of the Southeast region. Then number 7, in conclusion, Kanu reminds Chineke to note that the successive landmark victories he recently recorded in various courts of competent jurisdictions against the federal government of Nigeria may not have gone down well with his traducers, including the federal government of Nigeria. Hence, he insists that all hands must be on deck to enable saner minds to identify the real enemies in our midst and those being used by the establishment to try to implicate and or blackmail him. Ejiofor, speaking about the court case, said a date will soon be fixed for the hearing of Kanu's appeal against the order staying the execution of his judgment. Wow, this is a nice one. So Kanu has declared peace in the Southeast region, has warned his members, his supporters to make sure that they follow peace and they stay calm. And then they also feature the criminals among them that are using the name of Ipob to cause mayhem and cause problem. Because such activities of those criminals is actually what is emboldening the federal government to continue to unleash terror on the people of the Southeast, the innocent people of the Southeast. So he has given a 7-point instruction to all Ipob members to ensure that they stay safe, they stay calm, they stay out of crime, and they identify the enemies among them that are either causing problem with their name or are being used by the federal government to sabotage the effort of the Ipob movement. So this is a very good one. This is a very good one. I salute his courage. He is still there, but he has not lost hope. He has not lost his courage. He's still a leader, even in captivity, even in detention. And I know that one day God will get him out. Just like the British is watching the whole menace going on. The same thing British did to Mandela when Mandela was fighting for freedom in South Africa. They took Mandela to the British and locked him up there for years. And all African countries, all people in the world were fighting to get Mandela just out of the detention of the British from London back to South Africa. That took years. The same thing exactly the British did to Mandela is what they're advising Nigeria to do to Nnamdi Kanu, because it's very similar. Asking for freedom. Just asking for freedom. And the government is aggrieved with somebody asking for freedom. Exactly the same thing that the British, and I'm not surprised why British is also quiet about this Nnamdi Kanu's case, because they have been slave masters for centuries, and it's still in their blood, even the blood of their descendants, holding people captivity, and they are benefiting from all the troubles going on in Nigeria. That's why they cannot call the Hausas, the Fulanis to order. They cannot call the Islamic jihadists to order for what they are doing in Nigeria, shedding blood. Because the more trouble there is in Nigeria, the more the British benefit from Nigerian economy. So they are happy the way Nigeria is going, and that is why they are doing what they are doing. But they will be exposed. In fact, they are already exposed. It's just that Nigerian leaders refuse to have sense. All the politicians in the middle belt, southwest, southeast, and south refuse to have sense. And they keep aligning with these Fulanis, thinking that when they align with the Fulanis, that's where they succeed politically. That is being politically correct, just to achieve that selfish political interest and not the interest of the people they serve or the people they represent in government. It's quite unfortunate from everywhere, from top to bottom. It's unfortunate everywhere that people have refused to do the needful, that people are just unnecessarily cowardized, unnecessarily coward. But I still blame Nigerian leaders for what they're doing against human rights, and then what they're doing against Nnamdi Kanu. And I also blame the British. It's obvious they have hand in it. If they don't have hand in it, then let them come and counter the activities of the Nigerian government against Nnamdi Kanu. And the worst of it, Nnamdi Kanu has been a British citizen, carrying British passport, and was kidnapped with British passport in his pocket as a British citizen. But then the British still kept quiet till now, because they love what government is doing to Nnamdi Kanu and to the Igbos. And this is in alignment with what the British did in the Cold War of those days in Enugu, when they came and shot all the workers in the Enugu coal mining plant, because they were asking for a better condition of service, better remuneration. All the British did was to come with guns, stay at the lower part of the cliff, and shot the workers, innocent workers, shot them at Enugu there. So it's unfortunate that the British is known for this. And that is what they have given, that is the directive they have given the Hausas, giving them the courage, the Fulanis, giving them the encouragement to continue to do what they are doing. But it will be over one day. Somebody is saying, Ekperi Makano is now talking of peace. Really? Prison has reformed the lunatic albino. Can you imagine? Somebody is insulting Nnamdi Kanu here. This person must be a Fulani. And the insult will get back to him. All right? So somebody is right here. When you get home, if fool like you have parents, you can talk to them like Mumu, okay? So somebody is also insulting him back for insulting Nnamdi Kanu. Somebody say, free Nnamdi Kanu, free Biafra, conduct referendum for the people. Yes, that's what we're saying. And that's what Nnamdi Kanu is just asking for. Conduct referendum, give the people freedom, let them be autonomous. Because the country called Nigeria is not working. It's a failed contraction. It's a failed entity. And it's still failing till now. All right? So, what else again do I have to say? What else do I have to say? So somebody is saying here, nonsense talk. Nnamdi Kanu can never make a useless statement. Sit at home must continue. Talk the poster to sit at home on Monday. Wow, so somebody is still saying that this statement is not coming from Nnamdi Kanu. I don't think it is true. Nnamdi Kanu must have issued it, but let's see how it goes. Let them not just set confusion among themselves to allow peace to reign. Somebody is saying, and Nigeria Fulani knows that they are already failed, and Nigeria is also dead and buried, all right, and needed to be divided into 3 parts. No further case should be made in that dead Nigeria. And Elizabeth, British court against the Biafrans through Messiah, Mazil Nnamdi Kanu. The game is over. Nigeria has expired and died and buried. Divide it now. Let every region be on their own separate way. That's all. Yeah, that is what everybody is asking for, because nobody is enjoying Nigeria at this moment. Nobody is enjoying Nigeria at this moment. Nobody, everything in this country is not working at this time. So that is the instruction coming from Nnamdi Kanu through his lawyer, Ejiofor, to all the Ipob members to stay calm, to stay peaceful, and to be sure they identify the criminals among them, so that they can continue to fight their genuine cause without any issues. So thank you for listening, and then make your comment below.